just keep going. Sometimes those 3 words are all it takes to stay motivated. It was the push I didn't know I needed. So here I am, still going, still figuring things out. So what have I achieved since the last video? Well, I've done a lot of work on my stairs and ladder mechanics. I've also done some trials for my game indicators, and I've built a few new animations. I wanted my game to have both stairs and ladders, and of course I had no idea how to approach this. So, let the journey begin. My initial trial came from messing around with phaser, where for the stairs I just made some small little squares and positioned them on top of each other, each one offsetting from the other for a little bit. As you can see, this works somewhat okayish in phaser, but as a quick reminder, I'm making my game in Excalibur. So let's jump over to that engine. Doing the same thing in Excalibur presented me with some challenges, especially because I'm not using any physics yet. Not sure if I would even implement that in the future. But here we go. Let's see what happens if we add the same technique from phaser here in Excalibur. As you can see here, the squares or rectangle technique does not really play well with Excalibur. Later on I tried a different approach with a triangle collider, just like this. Now this kind of worked, but I had to add physics into the game and I had to play around with the body mass. And again, there were some issues if you're running, for example, or idling on the stairs, you would just slide down. Yes, I could have probably made this all work, but at the end I decided to go with a different approach. An approach where the character has to do these actions when the player only interacts with one button. Then the rest is done automatically by the character. And this is a useful tool as a game mechanic for the rest of my features in my game. Slowly I fell in love with this approach. I thought it is sleek and smooth. I also knew that I wanted to retain the less known speed before the character would start going up and down the stairs. So I added this logic so that if you are running while engaged with the action call, the character would retain the speed and animation up and down the stairs. I've also had to change the slow climb and descent animation just a little bit. It's not really noticeable, but the legs are far less extended now compared to when you would be walking, for example. Now that I had my player mechanics for the stairs ready, I went to work on my stair design. I tried a couple of stair options, for example this versus this. I experimented a lot with the stairs and I decided to go with this approach, which is sort of like an isometric design, I guess. I also think I've done a pretty good job with these stairs and the railings, but let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm still new to pixel art, so there's definitely room for improvement. I designed the stairs with 2 colliders, and based on where the player collides, I play the necessary animations. You'll also notice that the stairs have these children, so the railing and the indicator on the right or on the left. Both of these elements are the stairs children. The indicators are triggered based on the direction where the player is heading, whether that's left, right, up or down. And the railing was also another slight challenge, as the player, when he is down, he needs to be in front of the railing compared to when he is climbing. But all in all, I think the whole movement is pretty smooth. In the meantime, I decided to make a healthier version of a strawberry jam. Now, this was a very simple recipe where I basically just boiled the strawberries until they became this thick texture. And to make the jam a bit gelatinous, I added some chia seeds, made sure to mix them well, and for an extended shelf life, I added a bit of lemon juice. Once done, I poured them into these cute IKEA containers, and then we had some nice homemade jam for breakfast for the next couple of weeks. Now, back to the game and the ladder mechanic. I wanted to have some ladders as well. The biggest challenge here was animating my player. With a bit of help, I managed to create something decent. There was an issue here on the ladder when the player was moving up the ladder. I did not really like how the camera would just pop up onto him just like that. This is caused because of a sudden movement for the character when the character is animating between the ladder and the floor. So I decided to play with the camera a little bit, and I have added this nice little lerping effect. Looks 10 times better, doesn't it? As we can see, the ladder could definitely use a bit of work, because right now it's just one color. But in the upcoming weeks, I plan to spend a lot of time refactoring my code, as right now it is a bit of a mess. The player class is doing a bit too much, and later I also do plan on ironing out some of the assets and animations. As you can see from everything so far, I did not implement any kind of tile sets and tile maps, as I plan to just hand draw and hand place all the items in the world. I have an idea of making it unique, and I will probably have to come up with my own pathfinding for the enemies in the future. As for now, I want to thank you all who have tuned in for another episode of my devlog. I wish you all a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.